Que pasa, mi amigos? It's nemA here, and I picked up a game that just recently got ported to the Switch, Labyrinth Legend. This is a hack and slash loot collecting dungeon crawler. But before we talk about it, I just wanted to remind all of you guys to please like and subscribe. You make me feel better as a person and make me feel like I have some value in this world. Anyway, Labyrinth Legend is framed in the world of Kanda, where the promise of valuable treasure beckons adventurers and heroes alike to collect spoils and fight demons. And that's really about all they say in the story. There isn't much dialogue or storyline to the game at all. No, the heart of this game is purely the loot, the hacking, slashing, and dungeon crawling exploration. If you're looking for more of a story type game, I suggest Diablo or Into the Gungeon, or there's many others that have a little bit more story than this does, but that's not really why we play these games. We play these games for the action, for the loot collecting, and there is plenty in this game. Now, to start off, I will say there are multiple levels. Think of it like multiple biomes, if you will, that each have a corresponding boss at the end. And I really like that aspect of the game, because there's many games where you'll be in like maybe more of a forest kind of world, and the boss doesn't really correlate. Like, why would this type of boss be in this biome? But they do a great job designing not only the bosses, but the levels to all kind of work in tandem. As for your character, you can choose between 3 different classes: the Strider, the Wizard, and the Nightcrawler, each having their own special ability. Strider is almost more of like a tank, a ranger kind of character with the ability to block, as where the Wizard, of course, uses stabs and magic spells and can heal their own MP, although they have to stand still quite a while for that to happen. And Nightcrawler is the one that was actually added into the Nintendo Switch version, and that one really specializes more in like close combat and has a buffing mechanic when you dash into enemies. Now, the other cool thing about the characters and the class of characters is this is one of those few games that you can actually create your own character. Now, there's not like a ton of options as far as skins or you got the same 3 classes, but I just like the fact that you can do that. And I also like the fact that while you're on your adventure, you can switch back and forth between characters, and those characters aren't tied to any one run. So if you get up to like level 15, you can choose a level 1 character and still be able to make that same run. As far as loot collecting, there is a ton to get in this game, and each dungeon is randomly generated, so every run feels different, and you could find different things to add to your build. And you definitely want to focus on the type of build that you have moving forward, as where this can completely affect everything that you do in the next dungeon and how difficult the bosses are. The other thing that I found really helpful is going back to your main village and going to the general store, and you can purchase a chest which allows you to carry more equipment. That was one of the very first things I did, because one of the great mechanics of these kind of dungeon crawler games is being able to get a bunch of loot, go back and sell it, and then go back, and every run you might find one piece of equipment that you really like. But you're going to find a lot of other stuff that you don't need, but can definitely add to your whole goal of upgrading all your equipment. You're going to need lots of money. You're going to need lots of resources. So going back and forth between different dungeons and the different shops happens quite a bit. And once you find that equipment that you really are attached to, you can go to the blacksmith and he'll upgrade it for you. And you will need ore, which you can either find in some of the dungeons, or you can actually pay the miners to get some. I believe it's like 750 for a piece of ore. Can't remember off the top of my head. I really enjoyed a lot of the mechanics of this game. The pick up and play aspect of it is wonderful. The one thing though that did bother me is you can tell that this was once a mobile game, because some of the controls are just not as adaptive as I would hope they would be. Meaning there's a couple moves like your special ability and your dash are all tied to the same button. It just depends on if you're moving. If you're moving, you'll dash. If you're standing still, you'll do your ability. But with so many options on a controller, why have them both tied to one button? I don't really understand that aspect of the game. I also really loved the bosses. The boss fights were so much fun. They're so engaging, so creative, and they have that pattern that you like to look for, as well as like a bit of a difficulty spike. Now, I will say that in some of the bosses, it does make you want to go back and have to regrind, get more equipment, and figure out the best build to beat the boss. But I didn't really find this too much as a hindrance because it kind of just added to the narrative of a dungeon crawling game and why we kind of play these sort of games. So what would I change? What did I find lacking in this game? Honestly, a lot of it was polish. It just, I don't know, for the amount of money you pay, which is $14.99, you can pretty much get close to a Hades, Enter the Gungeon, many other dungeon crawling games that just honestly look better. And they feel just a tad bit better. As well as, and this one for me is huge, there's no online co-op, which I had some of the funnest times with this game playing in couch co-op with my son, and I could only imagine how much fun it would be if I could play online with my friends. Because, yes, I am an adult, and I don't have sleepovers anymore, and a lot of my friends live in different parts of the country, and it's hard to get together. But would be so much fun if we could all get this game and just do a big run in different parts of the world. And I understand that, yes, Nintendo Switch sometimes has issues with their online problems, but for the most part, it worked with Monster Hunter Rise. I don't understand why it wouldn't work with this, and I could just see how much fun this would really be. And I think that that aspect would add a lot to a game that maybe didn't have the graphics, the polish that some of the other games had. The fact that, like, your weapons don't really look too different. You can get, like, a awesome upgrade, and your weapon could be 4 or 5 stars, but it still kind of looks like one that's 1 star. Just certain small things like that kind of add up over time, only because you have to compare them to all the other dungeon crawler and dungeon crawler type games that we have available to us that are in that price range. Now, had this game been around maybe $8 to $10, I don't think I would be so harsh on it. But the fact that they do price it so high, I have to compare it to some of those other bigger titles. And I just feel like it misses the mark a little bit. Now, if this game does come on sale, I would definitely recommend getting it. If you love dungeon crawler type games and you don't mind the $15 price tag, then definitely go for it. Because what is there is a lot of fun. I just think that it's missing a few things. Now, the idea that they might have a DLC or they might add on online co-op, that's possible. That's highly possible. But just for right now, and the copy I played did not have those things. So I have to critique it on that value. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you're going to check it out or if you're interested in checking it out. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.